Snow fell over YanKang like quiet ash, and the lanterns still smiled, pretending the capital could outshine any darkness hanging above it. Welcome back to 3D Cartoon Review, everyone. Today, we enter Tales of Herding Gods, episode 72, where disaster doesn't scream first. It simply covers the sun and waits. One massive black cloud presses down on the realm, turning daytime into dusk and making even powerful officials swallow their pride carefully. In the Golden Hall, YanKang Huangdi points at the sky like he's accusing heaven of plotting against his people. More than 10 days, he says coldly. No sun, snow from north to south. 2/3 of farmland will freeze and die. Ministers tremble because when weather becomes a weapon, the empire feels smaller than a bowl of rice. But this catastrophe didn't begin with thunder inside the palace or prayer inside temples. It began with something ordinary: hot soup, spicy oil, and a young man eating like he had time. In a noisy noodle shop, Qin Mu sits calmly while steam rises like soft fog and chili glows like molten fire. His chopsticks move steadily, and his eyes stay quiet, as if the whole world's panic can't reach his table. Then the door slams open, and the air changes like a curtain ripped aside without warning. Yunxiao staggers in, dramatic and breathless, looking like he just lost a ship, a fortune, and his dignity together. He slams the table and shouts, "Qin Mu, my flying ship exploded midair, mechanism shattered, compensation almost bankrupted me." The shop turns to watch, because in YanKang, tragedy is common, but public embarrassment is still everyone's favorite entertainment. Yunxiao leans in, voice lowering like he's selling contraband fate, eyes shining with hungry desperation. "I need an iron-hulled flying ship," he begs. "Strong enough for storms, strong enough for enemies, strong enough to survive me." Qin Mu doesn't laugh or lecture. He simply swallows a mouthful of noodles, calm as a blade resting in its sheath. "How long do you have?" Qin Mu asks, casual tone, but his eyes measure more than time and money. 10 days. Yunxiao blurts, "I already bought designs and materials. Just, I don't have the hands or skill to build it." Qin Mu wipes his mouth slowly, as if sealing a contract using a napkin instead of ink. 10 days, Qin Mu repeats, then nods once clean and final, like a sword-cutting rope. Yunxiao exhales in relief. But in this world, relief never lasts longer than a sneeze. Qin Mu leans forward and says gently, "One rule, don't peek into my workshop, no matter what you hear." Yunxiao blinks, offended. "Peek? I'm a businessman, not a thief. I respect people's secrets." Qin Mu smiles faintly. "Good. Because if you peek, you may learn something you can't unlearn, and regret will taste bitter." Yunxiao laughs awkwardly, swearing with both hands, promising like a child promising not to touch a burning stove. The next morning, Qin Mu walks to the shipyard, with Ling'er, Long Quilin, and Tian following behind. The shipyard smells of iron and oil, because in YanKang, even nails dream of becoming weapons. Yunxiao shows the blueprint proudly, talking fast, trying to sound competent while his fear leaks through every word. Qin Mu studies the plan, then revises it immediately, like correcting a student's homework with ruthless kindness. He strengthens joints, shifts balance lines, adjusts power channels, and adds improvements that make Yunxiao's eyes widen in shock. 10 days, Qin Mu reminds quietly. "So we work like we're racing death, not chasing profit." Then Qin Mu does something subtle, but terrifyingly effective. He sends a signal no ordinary merchant should ever notice. Workers arrive with unnatural speed and perfect organization, carrying tools like soldiers carrying weapons. They are Tiangong Dian craftsmen and Sheng Dian artisans, members of Tian Jiao, disguised as common laborers. 200 people move like one body, forging plates, carving structures, and turning chaos into disciplined rhythm. Hammers strike like war drums, furnaces roar like beasts, and sparks fly like small stars dying in the air. Yunxiao watches from afar, sweating, pretending he isn't curious while curiosity chews his brain like a starving rat. On the third day, he tries to distract himself with calculations, but the forging sounds feel like whispers calling him closer. On the fifth day, he walks near the gate, sniffing like a hungry dog smelling roasted meat behind locked doors. On the 7th day, his will collapses completely, because humans fear ignorance more than danger. He peeks just a little, like touching ice to see if it's truly cold. A cold hand grabs his collar instantly, lifting him like a chicken caught stealing grain. Tian Moang's eyes are calm, aura heavy, voice like a mountain choosing whether to fall. Fan Yunxiao forces a smile. Brother, misunderstanding. I was just checking for safety hazards, protecting our investment. Tian Moang drags him inward, and every step feels like walking deeper into a grave he paid for himself. Inside, Fan Yunxiao sees the truth, rows of workers moving with cult discipline, eyes too sharp for ordinary craftsmen. His legs soften because organized danger is worse than wild danger, and this danger looks extremely organized. Qin Mu steps forward, wiping soot from his fingers, looking annoyingly gentle for someone holding another man's fate. Fan Yunxiao laughs painfully. Qin Mu, your workers are very enthusiastic. Your shipyard culture is unforgettable. Qin Mu nods politely. They are family. Fan Yunxiao swallows. Family? What family? Qin Mu smiles. The kind you don't discuss loudly in public streets. Then Qin Mu says the sentence, Fan Yunxiao will remember longer than his own birthday. 2 choices, Qin Mu says softly, voice as calm as falling snow. First, you join us. Keep your mouth shut and enjoy benefits. Second, you don't join and we make sure your mouth stays shut anyway. Fan Yunxiao's face turns white, then pale green, then white again, as fear repaints him in real time. He drops to his knees with the speed of a man who loves breathing. I join, he blurts. I swear, I'm loyal, so loyal I can be loyal twice. Qin Mu laughs, not cruelly, almost warmly, like accepting a new relative at a dangerous family reunion. Good, Qin Mu says. Welcome. Now stand up. We still have 10 days, and you still owe me money. Fan Yunxiao stands, smiling painfully, realizing survival always comes with a receipt. Work intensifies because Tiansheng Jiao craftsmen don't merely forge metal, they bully time itself into obedience. Iron plates fuse cleanly, ribs lock tight, and the hull gains strength that feels almost unreasonable for a merchant ship. They install multiple Danlu furnaces for power, then embed bronze beast mechanisms to stabilize flight like chained dragons. Finally, they paint wood grain camouflage across iron armor, hiding fangs beneath polite clothing. When the ships are finished, they don't look like art. They look like threats shaped into hardware. 5 iron-hulled ships stand ready, silent and heavy, like 5 sleeping beasts waiting for the sky to blink first. Fan Yunxiao almost cries from pride, until he remembers he traded freedom for oxygen in that workshop. He decides the safest way to live is to stay useful, and the fastest way to stay useful is to move. So he boards a ship and flies south, hunting roads, profit, and maybe a little luck hiding beyond the capital. At first, the wind feels normal, the horizon wide, the thrill familiar, like escaping responsibility with wings. Then he notices something wrong. Midday looks dim, like someone smeared ink across the sun. He flies farther south expecting warmth, but the air grows colder, and snow falls where green fields should breathe. Villages look stunned, roads vanish under white burial cloth, and travelers move like ants trapped under sudden frost. Fan Yunxiao's throat tightens because the shadow above doesn't feel local. It feels endless. By accident, he crosses the border and sunlight returns instantly bright and clean like freedom granted in one breath. He turns back slowly and his blood runs cold because he finally sees the disaster's true shape. One massive black cloud covers all of YanKang, like a lid pressed down by a giant hand. Inside the cloud, snow falls. Outside the cloud, the world still has sun, like 2 realities split by a cruel line. Fan Yunxiao doesn't admire the view. He panics, because this isn't weather anymore. This is a message, and messages from above are rarely kind. He returns to the capital at reckless speed, chasing survival like a debt collector chasing a fleeing debtor. But Qin Mu has already been summoned to court, because the emperor's patience is freezing too. Qin Mu steps into the Golden Hall, where ministers stand like nervous reeds, and Yanfeng Huangdi's eyes look heavier than his crown. YanFeng points upward, voice cutting through the hall like a sword drawn in anger. "One cloud blankets my country," he says. 10 days without sun. Snow across the whole realm. Do you want my people to starve? Ministers argue instantly, because fear makes people either wise or loud, and most choose loud first. Some shout that reforms offended heaven, that this is punishment, that the nation must retreat and kneel to old rules. YanFeng's face hardens into dangerous calm, and his next words strike like iron. "Punish those who spread fear," he orders, and the hall goes silent so fast it feels unnatural. Then YanFeng turns to Qin Mu, not treating him like a child, but like a blade the empire might need. "Qin Mu," he asks, "can you disperse this cloud?" Qin Mu doesn't pretend omnipotence. He answers honestly, and honesty sounds sharper than bravado. "If we can't disperse it," Qin Mu says calmly, "then we collect it." The hall trembles, not from sound, but from imagination of humans, grabbing the sky by the throat. Qin Mu continues, "Use cloud-collecting treasures, spirit gourds and tools, gather the cloud region by region, store it, weaken it, mobilize cultivators nationwide," he says. Each prefecture crafts treasures locally, collects clouds locally, with the army supporting hotspots. "Your Majesty should lead personally," Qin Mu adds. "Stabilize hearts, show the people the throne isn't hiding behind walls." After snow melts, Qin Mu pushes further, use cultivators to rescue agriculture, protect seedlings, restore soil warmth, repair irrigation and roads. YanFeng listens like a starving man hearing cooking, because this plan treats disaster as a problem, not a curse. He praises the plan and reveals a deeper anger. Guoxi is absent when the sky collapses. "If the Guoxi were here," YanFeng says, "he would tell me what this truly is. But the Guoxi walks his own path, distant and unreachable, like a blade carried by wind, refusing to be held." So YanFeng decides to travel personally and oversee relief, inviting Qin Mu to accompany him and recommend talents. Outside the palace, lantern warmth feels fake, like small lights arguing with an enormous sky. And in the political shadows, Yunxiao watches the cloud and smiles like someone seeing opportunity. He doesn't see disaster. He sees leverage to crush reforms and force the emperor back into old cages. He contacts Dao Men and Da Yinxi, offering righteous deals wrapped around sharp knives. "Help me crush Tian Shengjiao," he promises, "and I will reverse reforms, restore privileges, and remove the Guoxi's influence." Holy lands interpret the cloud as heaven's warning, urging submission, calling for old order like chains were sacred. But Qin Mu has never lived in a world kind enough to trust blind obedience. Dutian Moang's voice carries deeper dread than snow. "This isn't weather. This is a warning from God's celestial pressure on humans. If humans resist," he warns, "the warning can sharpen until it becomes extermination, like heaven erasing a mistake." Qin Mu doesn't bow. He feels the weight, then chooses the harder path because survival for common people matters more than pleasing judges. Across the land, stress cracks society, prices rise, merchants hoard grain, refugees flood roads, and bandits multiply like hunger's children. Qin Mu travels through affected regions, giving supplies where he can, watching the empire's true face beyond palace walls. He notices Tian Shengjiao disciples blending into crowds, helping quietly from within, obeying their cult leader's silent choice. But danger follows. Qin Mu senses tracking methods like insects clinging to cloth, and the sky itself feels watchful. An aerial ambush strikes fast and mean, using storms as cover, forcing Qin Mu to fight with limited spirit stones. Sword light flashes, iron ribs groan, wind screams, and Qin Mu cuts attackers cleanly, recognizing organized pursuit, not random bandits. Then the sky turns golden and a giant Buddha image descends, vast and oppressive, pressing onto Qin Mu's sword momentum like a mountain. His breath tightens, his blade falters, and the ship seems to groan under divine weight, warning that this war is no longer only human. And that is episode 72, one nation trapped under a black cloud, one throne surrounded by wolves, and Qin Mu walking forward like destiny owes answers. If you enjoyed this cinematic storytelling, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. because next episode the sky presses lower and the knives come out. So tell me, when heaven pushes down, do you kneel and beg, or stand up and build tools to push back? See you next time, where the cloud deepens, the holy lands move, and Qin Mu's road becomes sharper than a drawn sword.